This new announcement from China comes just days before Taiwan's elections on January 13th. Is Beijing trying to send a message here? And will this have a measurable enough impact on Taiwan's economy to potentially sway voters?
Well, for now, I would say the impact will probably be rather minimal because if you look at the sectors that are being targeted, first, they are quite small from the economic perspective. Second, even though there could be some implication on these sectors by itself, it's likely that some of the voters will want to, change the ruling parties anyways. From the macro level, I do not think that this is strong enough to revert the whole sentiment about greater sanction on export that will actually affect Taiwan's economy in general.
This new announcement also follows Beijing's suspension of tariff reductions on a dozen chemical imports from Taiwan that started at the beginning of January. Yet it hasn't gone so far as to target Taiwan's tech products. So why not?
China still has quite a large reliance on certain type of tech component from Taiwan, and targeting the ICT sectors by itself will probably even cause a greater spillover effect, not only on the global supply chain, but also on its own supply chain as well. And second, compared to some of the other products like chemical or metals, agriculture products, actually tech products are covered by another agreement, which is called the Information Technology Agreement under WTO mechanism. It will mean that Beijing will find it harder to change any related tariff related to those ICT products.
So cross-strait trade has been declining over the past several years. Originally, Taiwan sent around 40% of its total exports to China. That's now dropped to around 35%. So, where has that trade been going, and are we likely to see more of this diversion in the future?
I think the major driver for this change of the trade pattern comes from two factors. The first is, of course, if you look at the situation in China right now, there are higher labor costs, land costs has been elevated, and basically it's not as cheap to produce in China nowadays versus some of the emerging market like Vietnam or Philippines and etc. in ASEAN or even India. But of course, geopolitics also matter, and if you look at Taiwan's export order structure, we actually see that the US is actually the largest contributor, which basically means that if we look at it from the global level, if US firms or the US government are pushing for this de-risking approach that require the supply chain to move away from China towards other country, then Taiwan supply will simply need to follow.